Hi, welcome to a quick impromptu broadcast on the breaking news that NASA has announced that it's looking to set up an independent study on unidentified aerial phenomena. Now, if you're watching this, you've almost certainly seen that news. It's already been reverberating around the globe with major media platforms leaping on it. We've got, of course, the tabloid press are going pretty much straight to the potential for aliens involved, whereas most of the news media are kind of a bit more conservative on this. But what do NASA themselves say? Well, they're telling us that they basically have decided that there is enough kind of scientific interest in this idea that there are unexplained aerial phenomena to be investigated. Of course, for most people, this UAP actually really is a kind of replacement for UFOs, so unidentified flying objects, which is kind of well, both of these are military terms that have been used over the years. I mean, UAP actually was used as far back as the 1940s, in my understanding. So this is a recent kind of circular rebranding where we've moved from UFOs back to UAP. Now, NASA's actually, with this program they're looking to do, it's a kind of an initial exploratory work where we won't see them necessarily leaping straight into the fray with a kind of direct data capturing and a kind of a hunt for, strange objects and anomalous phenomena up in the higher atmosphere and in space, we assume. In fact, that's not clarified as yet. What is the range in which there'll be interest once we get to that point. But where we're at now is really laying the groundwork for what I would imagine is going to be a series of kind of meetings between experts at NASA and others outside of NASA, scientists at universities, people in the kind of the satellite tech world. And they're going to be looking at ways that they can utilize data that is being captured by ground stations, certainly astronomy equipment, satellite equipment, all kinds of stuff they've already got out in the field there. And they're going to be looking at ways that they can utilize this data, both past, present, and ongoing, to see whether there is a potential to then move on to kind of a direct focus of looking for strange new phenomena, potentially technologies, which would suggest, either secret military projects or something more, extraterrestrial, but they are not dismissing the potential for that there could be some kind of techno signatures in this. And by that, we mean alien technological signatures. That's not dismissed, in the broadcast that NASA's come out with. They're kind of quite honest, saying that, at this point, they don't know what all of these detections are by people, these UAP and UFOs, that they, from a scientific point of view, they don't have the data. There's not sufficient for them to say. Now, there's quite an interesting little snippet from the broadcast that they gave today, which I'm just going to play because it gives us a bit of insight into where they're at with things.
I think I'm going to get started, and then I'm going to kick it over to Dan. I'm not aware of any systematic or even kind of sporadic examinations of NASA data with that in mind. I'm sure there are some, but I'm not aware of any. It's certainly not at the level that came to my attention. The way we have done this, right? Of course, what we're doing is with our 20 plus assets that are in space and an increasing number of commercial partners. We're looking at the Earth in new ways, and we're also looking the other way at the sky in new ways with assets that we have, but also with assets that the National Science Foundation and others are putting up, including commercial entities. And then the question just really is, how do we use technologies such as AI and ML and other technologies that, by the way, are of high priority for us here to kind of really make progress in sifting through the data towards finding some of these interesting events that have the characteristics of UAP. So the data are here. Our respective organizations have them and have done it. The data are public, so I really don't know whether other people use these data for their research. I sure hope they are. We're always very excited if people pull down data and kind of investigate them with their own interest in mind.
Yeah, I'll just quickly add on that, I don't think anybody at NASA has, sort of systematically looked into UAPs in the past, at least to my knowledge. But I think that one of the things that this independent study will find is that there is an enormous wealth of data that is held in public archives that can be brought to bear upon this problem. Remember, one of the things we're trying to do here, again, as Thomas said, is to turn what is ostensibly a data poor field into a data rich one. And that's when we can really begin to tackle those interesting questions that are on the tips of everybody's tongue about UAPs.
So, I mean, we can tell here that they're really just at the fledgling stages of an actual kind of UFO UAP project. That this is literally about putting in an initial amount of money, and they're saying no more than $100,000. So not huge amounts of money, not the sort to employ new technologies or anything like that. They're putting in $100,000, and this is going to pay for time to explore the kinds of phenomena that are, potentially targets, where these targets might be, again, is it space? Is it in the upper atmosphere, the lower atmosphere? Where are they going to focus? Which technologies we employed where? So, where's a good target location where there might be, say, a watching station? They're going to have people meeting and deciding, how AI could be employed to this to filter out knowns like planes and balloons and all these other things, because AI now that is being employed militarily to do this. We will expect some of this to be utilized here. So you can almost imagine a fly on the wall. This is going to be discussions over, what technologies suit the objectives, who they want involved, how big a team is required, what are the kinds of discoveries that could be made, what are the phenomena in the records, what clues are there in past data, in which they may well find, say, indications that some of this could be, energetic phenomena, in which case you might have particular detection equipment, maybe with NOAA or somebody that could, use what they have already to focus in and look for kind of high energy events or radiation events. This is going to be kind of a series of kinds of, bringing it together on how to do this. And that's what this $100,000 we expect is going to do. So I don't think we should be, getting ahead of ourselves and expecting NASA to rush straight in now with a team that is deployed and begins looking for whatever these potential anomalous phenomena or craft are. That's going to come quite a bit later, but we would expect at the end of this initial kind of 9-month phase, we would expect then a public plan to be announced of what they're going to do, how they're going to do it, the real budget that's going to be involved, the team members that are going to be utilized, and a breakdown on the technologies and how those technologies will be used. That's where I see this going. But it's quite clear that, we've had honesty there from the scientists that they don't really, they're not coming out with a prejudice. They don't know what's there. There could be an interesting discovery to be made. I mean, if you think about it, even older phenomena like ball lightning, is a mysterious phenomenon that's not understood. And it's kind of funny because that's associated with the UFO UAP topic. In the past, we've heard, anomalous events written off as ball lightning, but nobody knows what ball lightning is, or how ball lightning kind of forms. It's disconnected from storms a lot of times. So, what is ball lightning? It's easy to give something a term and feel that you've somehow explained it, but it's not explained. So it may be that this project may well focus in on, knowns like that, or part knowns that we see these high energy events, these strange, spherical objects, or if they're an object, strange spherical phenomena that fly around, behave in strange ways, into buildings, seem to interact with people. We may be that something like that is zoomed in on, because you can almost see that as low-hanging fruit, that there's potential discoveries to be made in looking closer at phenomena that's been observed over the decades that lacks explanations. We may also see, a closer look at upper atmosphere kind of electrical events. And we know in the past they found things like sprites and all of that, are kind of strange energetic effects in the upper atmosphere. There may be more things like that for them to discover. I suspect a lot of scientists on these teams that they, as they form, will be wanting to make discoveries in those kinds of areas. There may be some who are keen to see if we really do have something like alien Bracewell probes visiting Earth that could be detected. There's a growing openness to this idea as we see NASA moving back into the kind of the hunt for alien techno signatures, again, which is signatures of high technology. That there is a search on for that, although that focuses on other worlds, and obviously interstellar space. There will be, I'm no doubt, some scientists in NASA that are wondering whether or not some of these probes have visited Earth in the past and may well be still somewhere in the near-Earth environment. For example, there's a class of these called Bracewell Sentinel probes that are theorized as being, likely, and that is probes that would be sent to worlds where there's a biosphere or, an oxygen signature suggesting a biosphere, and that these probes could sit on the surface and monitor over vast periods of time, or be left in orbit or on an asteroid belt nearby. So these, again, I think are going to be some of the possible targets. This idea that we should at least be looking to see if these types of probes are visited, and that may be an explanation for at least some of the things that people see in the sky. So it's quite exciting to see what's happening. We'll have to, I think, watch with bated breath, but also with taking a kind of a cautious view, in that we shouldn't expect this to go to an all-out kind of UFO investigation we might see from kind of private outfits. Obviously, NASA are going to be quite conservative and cautious in this, but I think we have good reason to be quite excited and look forward to some interesting science happening in the fairly near future.